What's up, guys? Welcome back to the TheSlamDuncan YouTube channel. So today I decided to split the video that I recorded into two separate videos. So the first video that I dropped today is going to be me, making my predictions about the Bulls for the trade deadline and future ideas for them to help fix the team. But this is what you're about to see, the second part of the video, which is me recapping the Bulls versus Heat game. So if you did not check out my first video for today, which is my prediction for the Bulls to the trade deadline, go watch that video. You can see it up in the cards or link it in the description, or you can just go to my channel and click on it. But this video is going to be me recapping the Bulls versus Heat. I hope you guys enjoy this video. If you do, make sure you hit that like button. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button, and let's get into the Bulls versus Heat recap. Let's move on. Let's talk about this Bulls versus Heat game. As you probably saw in the previous video, which I'll link up here and in the description, wow, I was pissed about the previous game against the 76ers. No Joel Embiid, no Ben Simmons. And this game, not going to lie, I was actually happy about this game. A lot of Bulls fans are like, oh my God, this just shows that we're not making the playoffs. I thought this team was going to be a playoff team, and then we can't beat the Miami Heat. I'm like, this team was just in the finals. They have an all-star in Jimmy Butler. This team is very, very solid all around, and you're telling me that this Bulls team is supposed to beat them. I don't understand that logic. A lot of Bulls fans are like, wow, I am so pissed that we're not making the playoffs now because we just lost to the Miami Heat. The Miami Heat got off to one, a slow start. Number two, Jimmy Butler was injured, okay? Don't let this record deter you. But the main thing is that I don't know what people are thinking. Like, yes, Bam Adebayo's out. Yes, Avery Bradley's out. But this team is still a really good team without those two guys. Jimmy Butler, as you can see, is still an all-star and is a damn good player still. But the main thing is, Duncan Robinson was starting in the finals last year. Tyler Hero was starting in the finals last year. Goran Dragic was a big part on the Miami Heat last year. Played great today. Kendrick Nunn, another big part. Also, Iguodala played today, right? But I just don't understand why people are like, we should have beat this team today. I really don't think we should have. I'm actually really shocked that people thought that. But I was very happy with how the Bulls played today. I saw, as you can see, just the shooting splits, which I don't know what happened down here is a glitch. But the Bulls could not really score today. But they still made it a game, and which is the important part. The Bulls had, which has been their mainstay in offense, they could not do that today. And usually when the offense isn't going, it goes downhill. But instead of just giving up because your offense wasn't going, they did the other things. They actually played defense today, and I was very happy to see that. And I know Miami ended up shooting 46% for the field. A lot of that was due to Dragic's amazing fourth quarter. But the main thing is that both teams were stuck in the mid 30%. Mid 30s in percentage wise throughout most of the game, and that shows to me okay, this Bulls team was here. They were like, all right, we're not scoring, but we gotta at least defend this team so that we're not scoring, but then at least they're not scoring, right? And they did just that. They held this Miami Heat team to a really low number of points, and then unfortunately Goran Dragic got going in the fourth. Therefore, they got to 101. But if Dragic didn't get going, then I think this the Heat don't hit 100. So I was happy to see because this was a game where, one, I don't think we're supposed to win, but number two, we made it a game even when we weren't playing that well because the Bulls' offense was just struggling all night, and credit to Miami Heat's defense, but the only person that could really score tonight was Zach LaVine for the Bulls, and he was the only person, right? And the rest of the people basically was really struggling. Thaddeus Young was even missing a good amount of his shots that he would usually make, and Lowry didn't really get going until the third quarter. So it was just basically LaVine in offense, and no one else could really score. On the opposite side, though, it was basically Jimmy Butler on offense until Goran Dragic got going to the fourth. Now, I will say the fourth quarter was kind of disappointing. I was kind of shocked to see what the line of Billy Donovan went to at the beginning of the fourth quarter. And, Thaddeus Young started the fourth quarter with Satoransky, but then he made a big lineup change that brought in Kobe White, Larry Markkanen, Patrick Williams, and Wendell Carter Jr. So basically all four starters, but again, they're all our young guys, and Denzel Valentine was the fifth person. And this was around 10 minutes left in the fourth, and this is when Dragic got going. And I was shocked to see that move by Billy Donovan because I did not like that at all because you're basically telling Denzel, okay, or maybe shifting Kobe White to the role of all right, you're our main primary scorer, and then the rest of the guys, you don't have a vet out here to help you. And this kind of was the downfall for the game for the Bulls, even though it was basically tied or really close to being tied throughout the entire game. It was just man, this kind of sucks because now all of a sudden, due to the lack of experience with that lineup, the Bulls just started going downhill. Dragic was getting open and open and open, which then he hit his shots, And then, once the vets started coming back in to finish the game, Dragic was already going and was just hitting shots in our faces. So just because you let him get going, that was the downfall for this team. If you just don't let Dragic get going, I think you have a chance to win this game. But in the end, you didn't. But I will say you did it most of the game. You did a good job of defending this team. A good amount of the time, I saw the Bulls first to the 50-50 balls. They were really making the Miami Heat work for their shots, which is what you need to do, especially if your offense isn't going. But I do think the lineup change at the beginning of the fourth was just a downfall for this team. And it really did suck to see that. But again, we're not supposed to win this game. And it just kind of shows like Miami Heat's a better team. So be it. I do think, for the Bulls fans that are saying, wow, we're not making the playoffs anymore. Bulls fans just forgot about the expectations going into the season, right? I personally think the Bulls have exceeded expectations. They were not supposed to be at this point. We saw last year, I know it's under Boylan, but we saw last year this team does not have a lot. They were really bad. But luckily this year, we have a guy in Zach LaVine that's averaging 29 and has been an absolute dominant scorer. And as you've seen, LaVine has had to basically put up incredible numbers just so this team could stay in the game, right? And then he had that one bad game against Philly, and then the team is blown out. So LaVine has done such a great job of just putting up these great numbers just so this team has a chance to win. Again, same thing tonight. He put up, I think, 30 on 10 of 16 shooting. It's like, this is great, right? And this is the only reason why we're even in the game. But obviously, he needs to work on his turnovers. But for this Bulls team to be in the game, LaVine has to do this. So if LaVine has to do this every night for us to win, why do you think that this Bulls team is going to be winning games, right? LaVine can't do this every single night. It's hard for him to do this every single night. But you're telling me that this Bulls team should be in the playoffs. That doesn't make any sense to me. So I think for those fans that are thinking, wow, we should be in the playoffs, but this loss shows that we're not going to make the playoffs. I mean, I don't know what to tell you, man. I really just don't. Because this team wasn't supposed to be in the playoffs, right? This Miami Heat team was just in the NBA Finals. And yes, they're missing Bam. But this Miami Heat team is good. This is a good team. And we just lost to a good team. That's how it goes. But the reason why the Bulls have this record of 16-20, which is more wins than I thought, right? The reason why they have this record is because, if you think about it, right? This Bulls team is winning against the teams that they should win against, right? For example, the Timberwolves, right? We beat the New Orleans Pelicans, right? They have lost some games that they obviously should have won. Obviously, they won last night against Philly and OKC Thunder. But we're also winning some games where we shouldn't have won, right? Where we remember the first game against Portland when we're in Portland, where we beat the Portland Trailblazers. That's not supposed to happen, right? But we won against them. But again, just because we win against that one team, right? That doesn't all of a sudden elevate us to we should be in a playoff team now because we beat the Portland Trailblazers who are in the playoffs. No, that's not how it goes, right? We need to be realistic about this team and its talent, and clearly this team does not have a lot of talent. Now, in accordance to what people are saying with the trade deadline and all these players, I think right now the big thing I'm seeing with Bulls fans is wow, okay, Wendell Carter Jr. needs to go, Markkanen needs to go, Kobe White needs to go, and these are three young guys, right, that we just recently drafted, and it's funny to me because I see so much criticism for these three guys, but I have to keep reminding people, look, again, evaluation season number 1, but number 2, these guys are young, man. These are young players, but the biggest thing that makes me upset is that I don't see people criticizing Patrick Williams at all. Now, remember, Bulls fans at the beginning, they're like, oh my God, we hate this Patrick Williams pick. And then all of a sudden they loved him, right? But I thought Patrick Williams had some bad moments today, especially offensively. He made some terrible decisions, and also he had a pass that was just completely thrown out of bounds. But if you're going to criticize these three guys, right, then you need to criticize Patrick Williams too. I don't want to hear this oh, he's a rookie. Well, Kobe White's a sophomore. What's the difference here? Just because Kobe White's a sophomore, it's oh, we expect you to do this, 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 and this. No, come on. Both these guys are young. Kobe White's basically still 20, right? And Patrick Williams is 19, and I think it's about to turn 20. So I don't understand this logic of we can hate on this guy because he's not a rookie, but because Patrick Williams is a rookie, we just give him a pass every single night. No, you got to criticize every single person fairly. And I think people are being unfair right now, and they're let's trade these guys, but let's not trade Patrick Williams. And I don't want to trade Patrick Williams either, but I don't understand the criticism towards these other three young guys, and then not say anything about Patrick Williams. Now, this isn't me saying these other three guys don't deserve criticism. No, they 100% deserve criticism. But if you're going to criticize these guys, you need to criticize Patrick Williams as well, because there are just times with Patrick Williams that it's just no effort, and that deserves criticism. I don't want to hear, oh, he's a rookie. No, effort has nothing to do with being a rookie. You can't use that as an excuse at all. And I think when it comes to the trade deadline, I'm going to be the person to admit I was wrong with Wendell Carter Jr. I legit thought Wendell could be the center for this team, but I was told Daniel Gafford should be the center in the future, and obviously that hasn't worked out either. So this team obviously needs a center. So yes, you're probably going to see a bunch of changes this upcoming offseason, especially to the positions that the Bulls need, fixing, which is obviously the center position, which I don't think this team has a playable center unless it's Thaddeus Young, and obviously the point guard position, because Kobe White just needs a mentor or a person that can take pressure off of him, but also take pressure off Levine. And to be honest, probably another forward, because I've already said it earlier in the video that you can go watch in the description, but I don't think Markkanen is going to be here in next season. I really don't. But these fixes are going to happen in the offseason, so let's not go crazy if Wendell Carter Jr. isn't traded at the trade deadline, right? But I really am just trying to make it clear to Bulls fans that if you're going to be critical of players, you need to be critical of everyone fairly. And unfortunately, I'm seeing a bunch of derogatory tweets about, Wendell Carter Jr., Larry Markkanen, and Kobe White. But, let's specifically, Wendell Carter Jr. and Kobe White did not have good games today, but nothing was said about Patrick Williams, right? These guys deserve criticism, but also Patrick Williams does as well, right? We need to be fair with our criticism moving forward. And I'm seeing too many Bulls fans are like, no, we just want to hate on this one guy just because we want to hate on him. That's not fair, and that's unfair criticism, and I really don't want to see that anymore moving forward, because, the best part about it is when we get the solution for the center position or the point guard position, I know already what Bulls fans are going to do, which is they're going to criticize the solution, even though they've been yelling for a solution this entire time right now. Which is, I just love that about Bulls fans, right? They're just like, we want a solution for this. We get the solution. Oh, we hate this. Yeah, that's how it goes with Bulls fans. I can't stand it. But I'm just calling you out right now just so you don't look stupid in the future. But I want to just show one clip today that kind of just shows the difference in effort from the previous game against the 76ers to now the game against the Miami Heat today, which I think the Bulls played really good defense today. And it's this play right here. I understand about how the Bulls give up so many points in the paint this year. It's been a constant all year, and that's been kind of the Bulls defense. That's been their weakness, is that we give up a lot of points in the paint, and then everyone wants to blame the big men. Automatically, it's like, oh, the big men, we have no rim protection. How dare they give up so many points in the paint, right? But I showed you a clip last week, right? That the perimeter defense was so bad, and that was the reason why the Philadelphia 76ers could get into the paint so easily and score. And, the center would score, right? But it wasn't on Wendell for that one clip, right? It was on the fact that Patrick Williams' poor perimeter defense and inability to get over a simple screen. That led to the inside look, because his perimeter defense, which was poor, which is the main line of defense, broke down immediately. Therefore, the help defense had to come help, and they did just that. But then it led to an easy bucket because the perimeter defense was so bad, right? And we've been seeing it all year, that the Bulls don't rotate very often. And Billy Donovan doesn't want that to happen, because as we've seen already, if the Bulls do rotate, they get lost. They just completely get lost. Now, the Bulls defense in this game, specifically for the pick and roll, it was a switch between the drop coverage, which we've seen all year, and you're about to see it in this clip, right? But also some switching. We saw a good amount of switching this game, and I'm actually happy to see that, because it throws different looks at Miami, and it was actually pretty effective. The main thing that I want to point out to all Bulls fans is that in this game, the Bulls forced the Miami Heat to shoot threes instead of giving up easy looks, and this is a prime example of what I just said. And this is the difference, right? Because giving up an easy paint look is worse than giving up a three-point shot. I'd rather a team take a three-point shot than give up a dunk. That's just my opinion. I know a bunch of people are going to disagree with me on that, but I think that's kind of stupid if you disagree with me on that, because it's like a dunk is 100% going to go in. That's 100% 2 points. A three-point shot, it's around 37% it's going to go in, right? So this play right here shows exactly what the Bulls did different from the previous game. I called out Patrick Williams in that one clip that I showed you, right? He didn't get over the screen, and then he was basically out of the play the entire time. But in this play right here, he's guarding Jimmy Butler, and it's a double screen up top. Now, he's got picked by Duncan Robinson and Kelly Olynyk, and the Bulls right now are doing a drop coverage, right? So as you see here, what needs to happen in a drop coverage, the person getting screened needs to fight over that screen and then try to get back to that man that with the ball that they're guarding initially, because we don't want Larry Markkanen to get stuck in the middle, because then if this guy isn't here and Patrick Williams guarding Jimmy Butler, it's a 2v1 situation against Markkanen, which is going to end up in a layup. But instead, you saw Patrick Williams fought over both screens effectively, got back to Jimmy Butler in time, and therefore Larry Markkanen is able to stay on Kelly Olynyk, and this is what happens next. So if, let's say, Patrick Williams didn't get over that screen quick enough, right? Then all of a sudden, Jimmy Butler is able to turn that corner easily. He can then take Markkanen up to him, which then leaves Kelly Olynyk wide open unless Zach comes over, but the Bulls don't do that, right? And then that's an easy dunk off to Kelly Olynyk for a layup or a dunk. That's what was happening against the Philadelphia 76ers. If you want to see the clip that I talked about, go watch my previous video. But instead, though, because Patrick Williams got over that screen effectively and Markkanen didn't overhelp or anything and was able to stay on Olynyk, it ends up Jimmy Butler's throwing that pass out to Duncan Robinson. And this is a pretty deep three. Now, obviously, Duncan Robinson is one of the best three-point shooters in the NBA right now. You can't leave him. So, kind of poor defense at Kobe White, but main thing is I want to show you is that this was the difference. Because this right here would have been a dunk or a layup last game. Instead, it ends up in a three-point shot, and Kobe White needs to do a better job of defending this as Duncan Robinson ends up hitting this. But this is the difference. We force those types of shots instead of easy layups or dunks. That's what the difference between this game was than the previous game. And I'd rather have this game every single game from here on out than what we saw against New Orleans or like against the Kings, right? Which were wins, right? But no defense was being played in those games. And I don't want to see another repeat of the Philadelphia 76ers game where we had no defense, but then also we couldn't score. So you got to have the defensive consistency, because the defense all depends on you as a team. It has nothing to do with what the opposing team does, right? You can bring the defensive intensity. That is 100% on you. But you and your offense, like, is it going to be rolling or not? That depends on the opposing team, because they could have a good defense, right? But you need to have that constant of that good defensive effort. That is just on you alone. And if the Bulls continue to do that, I will not be mad for the rest of the year, because I was pissed at that last game. But this game right here, I'm actually not mad at all. I think the Bulls played a pretty good game, all things considered, as we've seen that this team does not have that much talent, because we're all calling out all these players, right? So, with a team that doesn't have a lot of talent, you got Zach LaVine, the only guy scoring. We couldn't score at all unless your name is LaVine. We stayed in this game for a really good amount of time. We kept the Miami Heat to 101 points. That's good. That's a good game. We should have lost this game, and we did lose. But we still made it a good game, and we still made progress for this team. So, I know I talked a lot, but, recap the trade deadline. We recapped, potential free agents for the point guard position, or just really talking about what the Bulls should be doing or what they're planning on going to be doing to help fix this team. And we kind of broke down a little bit about the Heat game for the Bulls, which was, again, I think it was pretty solid game overall. I know individual players didn't have a good game, but the thing is that they brought the defensive intensity, which was important to bring against a team that is going to lock you up defensively, but then you just can't let them score on you either, right? And the Bulls did just that. So, hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure you hit that like button. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.